بسم اللہ الرحمن الرحیم.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. So today, inshallah, we'll start ayat 102 of Surah BAQARAH. Let's make our dua. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Nahmaduhu nusalli ala rasulil kareem. Amma ba'd. Fa'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Rabbi zidni ilma. اللهم فقهنا في الدين اللهم إنا نسألك علما نافعا وعملا متقبلا ورزقا طيبا اللهم انفعنا بما علمتنا وعلمنا ما ينفعنا وزدنا علما آمين يا رب العالمين. So I request everyone to put them on mute so we don't have any disturbance and we can attend this class inshallah. So let's read ayat 102 of Surah Baqarah. It's a very long ayat, and I have divided this ayat in 7 parts. Inshallah, first we'll read the ayat, and then we will break it in 7 parts and do the tafsir. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. وَاتَّبَعُوا مَا تَتْلُو الشَّيَاطِينُ عَلَى مُلْكِ سُلَيْمَانَ وَمَا كَفَرَ سُلَيْمَانُ وَلَكِنِ الشَّيَاطِينَ كَفَرُوا يُعَلِّمُونَ النَّاسَ السِّحْرَ وما أنزل على الملكين ببابل هاروت وماروت وما يعلمان من أحد حتى يقولا إنما نحن فتنة فلا تكفر فيتعلمون منهما ما يفرقون به بين المرء وزوجه وما هم بضارين به من أحد إلا بإذن الله ويتعلمون ما يضرهم ولا ينفعهم ولقد علموا لمن اشتراه ما له في الآخرة من خلق ولبئس ما شروا به أنفسهم لو كانوا يعلمون. So the first part is they follow what the shaitan recited during the reign of Sulaiman alayhi salam. Sulaiman never disbelieved, but the shaitan disbelieved by teaching black magic to the people. The trade of magic is an old one. Although everything occurs by Allah's will, magic is one of the main causes used to affect changes. People of Hud and Salih alayhi salam thought they have gone insane and crazy when they called people towards Islam. The people thought that they are acting crazy because they were bewitched. They thought that they were affected by black magic. Now we all know the incident between Musa alayhi salam and the magicians of Pharaoh. And Pharaoh told them that, they have to come to his court and do some magic spells in front of Musa so that Musa alayhi salam will be frightened and then he would not bother Pharaoh by asking him and telling him to come towards Islam. What happened was when they did their magic spells, Musa alayhi salam told them that this is sheer magic, what they are doing. And what he has is a miracle of Allah, which only prophets were given from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when he put his staff on the ground, it became a serpent, a big snake, and it ate all the sticks and ropes that they had. And then the magicians immediately realized that this is not magic. This is a miracle of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And they immediately accepted Islam. Sahih al-Bukhari in his hadith reports that how a Jewish person, he cast a spell over our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So magic has been there over centuries. It was there at the time of Musa alayhi salam, and even at the time of Sulaiman alayhi salam, even in the time of our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. and it exists even today. So Mufassireens, commentators have said that, Shaitan, he buried some amulets beneath Sulaiman alayhi salam's throne. And when he died, when Sulaiman alayhi salam passed away, they dig his throne, they dug up these items, and they spread the word. Bani Israel, they spread the word that Sulaiman alayhi salam was not a prophet of Allah, but he was a king over the creation only because of his magical talent. Now look at this. He is a prophet of Allah. He is the son of Dawood alayhi salam. And they know that he's a prophet of Allah, but they are denying that he is not the prophet just because they don't want to believe it. They want to make fun of him. So they said that, he's not a prophet of Allah. He's a magician. And he was just being a king because of his magic. But true Jews, Jews who were very sincere, they knew that he was the prophet of Allah, and they did not believe in what they were saying. But the masses, generally all the Jews, they thought that he was a magician. And that's why they wanted to learn this magic, the tricks. They thought that it's coming from the knowledge of Sulaiman Islam, and they had keen interest in learning magic. Again, we see that Bani Israel is not following the commandments of Allah. They are throwing the book of Allah behind their backs, and they are disregarding the scripture of Allah. They're disregarding their own Torah. Torah is saying that they cannot do this, but they don't want to follow, they don't want to listen. So when Prophet ﷺ spoke about Sulaiman al-Islam as being the prophet, the Jews said, so the Jews in Medina used to tell him, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they used to address him only with Muhammad. So they said, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, Sulaiman, the son of Daud, was a prophet, but he was nothing but a magician. So it was running, in them, even the descendants of Jews, even the Jews who were in Medina, they used to think that Sulaiman alayhi salam was a magician and not a prophet. So to refute what the Jews said to Prophet ﷺ, that he was a magician, Sulaiman alayhi salam was not a prophet, Allah has revealed this part of the ayat, the first part of the ayat, which says, they follow what the shaitan recited during the reign of Sulaiman. Sulaiman never disbelieved, but the shaitan disbelieved by teaching black magic to the people. So Allah has made this very clear that Sulaiman alayhi salam never did magic. He was giving miracles from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, like all the prophets were given. And whatever he was doing was by the will of Allah. He was a pious man, and he was not a magician. So this is the first part of this ayat. Now let's see what the second part of the ayat says. They also followed what was revealed to the two angels, Harut and Marut, in Babylon. So magic was extremely popular in Babylon. Babylon is the birthplace of mostly all the prophets, most of them. Even Ibrahim al-Islam was from Babylon, and descendants of Ibrahim al-Islam were from Babylon. Later on, they, for the sake of people in Islam, they, moved to different lands, but Ibrahim al-Islam was born in Babylon. So Babylon, people of Babylon were so much impressed by magicians that they considered them to be very superior and blessed. So to expose the harm and evil of black magic, Allah sent two angels, Harut and Marut, to Babylon. They were sent down by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to show clear signs, clear distinction between magic and miracles. They were also a test for the people who wanted to learn and pursue evil from those who abstain from it. So they were sent down so that, they could tell everyone that, magic is haram, magic is evil. And they could differentiate, they could teach them what is magic and what is miracle, because prophets were there at that time. Allah was sending prophets one after the another to Bani Israel. So then they could distinguish between miracles and prophet. They could tell the people that this is a miracle that the prophet is doing, and this is sheer magic. Now, part 3 says, They never taught anyone without telling them we are merely a test, so do not disbelieve. Whenever people would come to them to learn magic, they would first tell them, hang on, please, we are just a test, so do not disbelieve. Why are they saying do not disbelieve? Because you're actually disbelieving in the book of Allah, whether it's Torah or Injil or Quran, if you're not following the commandments of Allah, if you're using it for your own sake, for your own benefit, but if you're harming others. So they are saying, do not misuse the book. Do not misuse the deen. Do not make yourself as disbelievers by learning this. I mean, we are sent down to teach you magic, but we are test. So the pious ones, the people who were good, the people who had taqwa, who feared Allah, who wanted to protect themselves from sin, they abstained from it. They did not learn magic. But people of weak iman, evil people, people who were mean, they had evil intentions. They wanted to, make others suffer and, gain happiness or, some worldly gains. They wanted to learn this magic from them. But because these angels were sent down from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they only thought when they pledged, Bani Israel pledged that, okay, we will learn magic only to do good. We will not do any evil or we will not harm anyone by doing this magic. Only if someone pledged, then they would teach them. But of course, who were they? They were Bani Israel. We have learned in Surah BAQARAH over and over that they never honored their pledge. It was thrice or maybe 4 times that we have learned in the Quran that Allah is telling that they are breaking the covenant with Allah that they have made. And yet again, this was just their second nature to make a promise and then just breach it, not to follow it. They did it once again. They said, yes, of course, we will not harm anyone. We promise you that we will only use it for good, to benefit us and to benefit others. And they learned it. They learned the art of magic. And once they knew that they have, they have excelled it and they know how to do it, they just were going with their desires and they did what they wanted. They used it to harm others. They used it for their own benefits, but it has created enough corruption for others. Now, part 4 says, so they learned from the 2 of them. Which are the 2 Allah's talking about? It's Harut and Marut. So they learned, Bani Israel, or the people of Bani Israel, so they learned from the 2 of them such things whereby they could split a man from his wife. Astaghfirullah. This is one of the worst evil. Even evil has categories, but this is one of the worst evil, one of the most hated deed in Allah's sight. Splitting a loving couple, creating a rift between a loving husband and wife. So one of the many evils that black magic could do, Allah is specifically mentioning this evil because this is the worst deed that someone can do, to separate a loving husband and a wife, which can cause a split between the couple. Some couples even end up into a divorce due to black magic. So we started with Ayat 102. That's okay. I was waiting for you, but then I said, okay, it's almost time, so let me start. So 102 is a pretty long ayat. All right, it's almost in a 15-liner Quran. It's almost a page. Okay, or maybe like 2/3 of a page. So I have actually split this ayat into 7 parts. We did the first part when we learned that Allah is saying to Prophet ﷺ that Sulaiman ﷺ was a prophet of Allah and he was sent down from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as a prophet, not as a magician. Because Bani Israel were thinking that Sulaiman ﷺ was a magician. And only because of his magic, he could do what he was doing. He could control the winds, he could control the jinns, he could control the animals. Because when Sulaiman ﷺ died, they dug up, his throne, and beneath his throne, they found some amulets, taweez. We say taweez in Urdu. They found, the Bani Israel, they found some amulets when they dug up the throne of Sulaiman al-Islam, when he used to sit. And they said, oh, so these are taweez, these are amulets that were inside the throne of, they were beneath the throne of Sulaiman al-Islam. And Sulaiman al-Islam, that's why was not a prophet, he was a magician. And because of his magic, he had the ability to control, the winds and the animals and the jinns and everything that he could do. So Allah is revealing the first part of this ayat, which says, وَاتَّبَعُوا مَا تَتْلُو الشَّيَاطِينُ عَلَى مُلْكِ سُلَيْمَانَ, which says that Sulaiman never disbelieved. Ayat 102, 102 of Baqarah. Sulaiman never disbelieved, but Shaitan disbelieved by teaching black magic to people. So Shaitan was the one who used to teach black magic. It was not Sulaiman al-Islam. Allah is defending the honor of Sulaiman al-Islam. Allah is saying that how dare you call my prophet a magician. So this was first part of the ayat. We were doing the second part of the ayat and I was about to finish it, where they said, okay, we also did the second part, which says they also followed what was revealed to the two angels, Harut and Marut. So Harut and Marut were the two angels that were sent down from heaven to this earth as a test to Bani Israel, because people of Bani Israel wanted to learn magic. So Allah has sent two angels, Harut and Marut, from the skies so that they can distinguish between magic and miracles. Prophets of Allah, see, my glasses are broken. We don't have teaching it. So prophets of Allah were sent down by miracles. All prophets of Allah were given some kind of miracles. Like Salih Islam made the camel came out, the she camel from the mountains. That was the miracle he was given. Musa al-Islam was given the staff, where he just hit the staff and Allah just, made the Red Sea split. Yeah, there were these 12 springs that gush out from whenever he used to hit his staff. Isa al-Islam was given this magical power when he could heal the blind, raise the dead, tell people what they have eaten. He could also tell what they have in their houses, what wealth they have in their houses. So this was all given from Allah. Our Prophet ﷺ was given Quran. It's a living miracle. Also, he did so many miracles, like, he could split the moon. He has once split the moon. Then water used to gush from his fingers and all Sahabas were able to do wudu from that water. Also, during the Battle of Trench, Khandak, there was a small pot of lamb stew, which could only feed 2 or 3. But when he opened the lid and, he spit it in it, that pot of lamb stew was able to feed 1,000 people of Khandak. So these are the miracles, and there are so many miracles done by Prophet ﷺ. These are just a few to mention that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given to the prophets themselves. It's coming from Allah. It's not magic. But what Bani Israel were doing was sheer black magic to harm others so that, they can gain power, they can gain wealth, status, fame, people could come and, please them, people could bribe them and, they can do, whatever they want. So Allah saying that they also followed what was revealed to the two angels, Harut and Marut in Babylon. They were very impressed by what Harut and Marut were doing. So Harut and Marut told the people of Bani Israel that, hey, listen, we are test. Okay, we are here sent on by Allah. Don't learn magic from us if you have any evil in your heart, if you have any evil in your mind, if you are planning to destroy someone, if you are planning to, gain some power from someone or, harm someone, don't learn. Only learn if you have something good in your heart, But, and they were Bani Israel, we have learned over and over that, they have a habit, a second nature that, they are going to make promises and then they are going to break the promises. So they did it again. They promised Harut and Marut that they would not harm anyone. And they learned the art of magic. One, they excelled in that. They again breached the promise, the pledge, and they were using it to harm others. So they were causing corruption because of this black magic. And that corruption is still date. We think today's world, can everyone put themselves on mute? So, it's still today, we learned that black magic still exists. And if we sit and if we hear some stories, I mean, there are so many times, people say, I think someone has bewitched her, or something has gone wrong. They were living so happily. Allah is mentioning that, so they learned from those two. Bani Israel learned from these two, Harut and Marut, such things whereby they could split a man and his wife. So this is, I mean, this is one of the worst deed that someone can do. It is one of the most hated deed in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to split a husband and a wife, a loving couple, causing a rift in between them. Because what happens when you cause a rift between a husband and a wife, in between a family, then there is a drift between the two sides, the in-laws, like the girl's family and the boy's family, the man's family. And then because now they are fighting with each other, they don't like each other, they hate each other, they go and they talk bad about them, everywhere where they go and sit. So now what happens? We are actually corrupting the whole community, the whole society. So no one is going to think good about anyone. The husband's mom is going to talk bad about her daughter-in-law. The daughter-in-law is going to talk about bad about the whole family. So it is going to spread corruption everywhere. Next time, no one would like to marry a daughter or a son from that family. Oh no, because the lady was like that, or the man was like that, a father-in-law was like, the brother-in-law was like that. So this is the worst sin someone can do in his life. If they see a married couple, a loving husband and wife, and they have this vengeance and jealousy for that lady or for the man or for anything, if they use black magic to do this, Allah is saying this is one of the worst things someone can do. There's also hadith that comes which says, it's in Muslim, narrated by Jabir radiallahu anhu. I'm going to read the hadith as it is. Verily, Iblis places his throne on water. He tells his followers, I mean his children and his whole team, his followers, to cause corruption among people. Like, just go and go, just do whatever bad and evil you can do. The closest to him will be the one who causes the most corruption, the most harm in this world, in this dunya, or wherever he can reach, wherever his reaches. One comes to him saying, I pursued a man to such an extent. A man here means a husband. I pursued a man to such an extent that I eventually caused him to be separated from his wife. And separation here means divorce, not coming back. I mean, he has actually persuaded him so much that he actually gave divorce, and now they can never reconcile. Thereupon, Iblis embraced this shaitan who splits a couple, and he said, you have done the best thing. Out of everyone, they worked so hard, but you worked the hardest and the smartest, that you've split this family. Now, forever, the kids are going to think bad about the father or the mother, the grandchildren. I mean, there are going to be so many stories. We have seen this everywhere. We have seen this in our families, in communities, in our culture. I mean, then the woman is called with certain names, the man is called with certain names, the people, the kids, the grandkids, they have not even seen their grandfather, grandmother, but they know stories. There are legacies created. I mean, people leave negative, I mean, it's so much negativity in the whole family and extended family and friends and acquaintances. So this is the verse in Allah saying, and that's why this part is mentioned in the Quran, that this sin, that Allah is saying, Bainal mar'i wa zawji, that bainal, between the man and his wife. So Allah is saying everything that they're doing is wrong, but they are doing this thing also. So today, lesson to learn is for everyone, for me, for you, for everyone who's listening, that if we see a married couple, loving couple, we have to say, MashaAllah, la quwwata illa billah. We just cannot think beyond that. We cannot comment beyond that. We don't know what's going on inside the families, outside everything looks good. But if we see something good, we have to say, MashaAllah, quwwata billah. We might be in a hell, we might be in a terrible situation with our spouses, in our families, but that's okay. It's our test. It's our test. Everyone is tested differently. Everyone has a custom made, a tailor-made test. That does not mean, we have jealousy for this lady or jealousy for this man. Because remember, if because of our jealousy, if we said something a kalima of shirk or anything wrong, it is going to go against our deeds, it's going to be counted. So we have to be very careful. This is a very important ayat, and everyone is worried about black magic. Everyone thinks that, if anything goes wrong, we have it, in our system, in our minds that, someone must have done something to us. My daughter is behaving like this, someone must have done something, kuch to bhi hua hoga. My son is not behaving like this, he's a hafiz of Quran and he's not coming towards Quran. Oh my God, maybe someone, he has some spell on him. There's a magical spell. So not everything is magical. That's why we have the Moizatain. We are supposed to read, Qul A'udhu Birabbin Nas, Falak, three times, morning and evening. There's so many adhkars that we read in the morning. So not everything is black magic, but yes, there is black magic. So we have to protect ourselves, our families, and we have to follow what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, the morning and evening supplications and everything that will help us. So Allah is mentioning this point specifically in the ayah that they used to split husband and wife by doing black magic. So no one should do this. No one should even try doing this. No one should even think about it. Because the first thing is the thought. Once it comes in your mind, then shaitan tries to figure out something that you find a way to do that action. Even if you've not done, it's a sin. Because, even if you're thinking about a good deed, you're rewarded for the good deed, maybe 10 times. But even thinking about a bad deed, it's not a sin. But if you're thinking about a bad deed, we are humans. Shaitan might sway us. We might not go to that extent, but we might say something bad to someone, so we should just hold ourselves as far as this thing is concerned. Now, part 5 of the ayat, it says, they can never harm anyone therewith without Allah's command. So Allah, alhamdulillah, this is so much of peace to all of us that black magic will not work until Allah has allowed black magic to work on someone. So Allah says that those who dabble, who play with black magic, who take it very seriously and who are completely engrossed in black magic, can never harm anyone, cannot do any bad to anyone with their magical spells with Allah's permission, without Allah's permission. See, fire, water, wind, these all are armies of Allah. Okay, Allah wishes to use them any way He wants. Fire couldn't burn Ibrahim al-Islam. He was sitting in the fire. Okay, he was a teenager. He was all naked, and it was a fire that was made after burning for several days. Okay, even birds who were flying, on the top of the fire, they were falling into it. But Ibrahim Islam was not burned by that fire because Allah commanded that fire that do not burn Ibrahim. And when later on someone asked Ibrahim that what was the best time of your life, so Ibrahim Islam said, the time when I was sitting in the fire. Allah had made it a sakina for him. The temperature was so perfect, neither it was too hot, nor it was too cold. It was like perfect. I think probably it was like 75, 78 degrees. So can we imagine? Yeah. So these are the armies of Allah. Even the knife couldn't cut the throat of Ismail alayhi salam because Allah did not give the permission to the knife. Okay. Also, there are so many things. People eat food. Food is supposed to satisfy you. People eat so much. The food is not satisfying them. We have so much of obesity in this world. This is a very practical example. Everyone is eating. Everyone wants to lose weight. There's weight control program and everyone is trying. But at the same time, people are eating a lot more than they used to eat because food is not satisfying them. Food is a commodity that if you eat this much, it should satisfy you. But we eat maybe like 3 times more than what we are having, but it's not so. We should make dua. And whatever goes inside us should satisfy us. Even sometimes people drink so much of water. They drink so much of, these beverages, coffee, tea. They drink tea over tea, like 10 cups of tea, Coke, or maybe anything. I mean, I'm also one of them. So Safa, look at me also. Yeah. No, your mom takes tea just 2 cups or maybe 1 cup, right? Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. That's normal. No, but I have seen people having tea after every 1 hour, 2 hours. They're just sitting. So, we have to take all these things very seriously. Why is it not satisfying? Maybe why are we not telling our mind and heart that, this is something we are going overboard with? Because by the will of Allah, it's not satisfying a satiety. It's not satisfying our needs. So these all are armies of Allah. Sulaiman alayhi salam was able to control everything because these were armies of Allah and Allah has ordered them to, listen and follow what Sulaiman al-Islam was saying. All right. Now, all these things that I have mentioned, they are visible. We can see it. We have stories. We know that fire did not burn Ibrahim al-Islam. The knife couldn't cut the throat of Ismail al-Islam. But magic has invisible effect. It has effect that, we cannot see. Even when we call magicians to these parties, they do tricks. They do mesmerism, and we are not able to see what they're actually doing. So that's why we're very, astonished and surprised and, wow, how is it doing? So, but only people who are ignorant and who don't know, Allah is saying here, people without taqwa and iman, who are not protecting themselves with sins, who don't fear Allah, who don't love Allah the way they should love Allah, they will fall in the traps of these magicians and black magic and everything. People who fear Allah, people who know what it is, they will not be, mesmerized or surprised, or they will not get carried away by all this. I mean, if we hear, okay, someone has done black magic, the first thing which should come in someone's mind who has taqwa should be, may Allah protect you. Inshallah, don't worry. This will only affect you if Allah permits it to affect you. If we get alarmed, if a person of taqwa, if anyone who has taqwa, if he gets alarmed and if it's so, really, I mean, you've been bewitched, someone has done black magic, oh my God. So we actually not helping them if someone is telling us like this. So Allah is saying, people of strong iman, for them, it will not affect any such news coming to them, or if they see or hear anything, it will not affect them, because they know it will only harm that person if Allah wills. And that's for anything. If Allah wills, something can harm you. If Allah doesn't, I mean, you can do anything, but you can still be safe. So that's what it says. So when Musa alayhi salam was challenged by the magicians, he told them that their act is sheer magic, and what he has is real miracle from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And he said to the magician that if Allah wants, he could nullify and just what they are doing. And that's why we are told, as I said, to read Surah Falaq and Nas, so that these magic spells and these things, they don't affect us. Okay. Now, part 6 of this ayat. They learned things that harmed them and did them no good. So one of the way black magic works is when we become the follower of shaitan, when we actually worship him, which means we actually do shirk. We say kalamas of shirk, we say words of shirk, we do actions of shirk. I mean, if we do evil and we kept doing evil, that will make us the follower of shaitan. And when we do that, it will be easier for us to learn black magic. So someone has to be really corrupt, filthy, evil, and go to that extent to learn black magic. Because shaitan, what he does is, he tells, I mean, when they want to, I mean, even the intention of learning black magic is a very filthy and evil intention. Okay, so when you have that intention, shaitan knows you have that intention. So he will show you the path, the way, how you can do that. You might meet someone and they will tell you, okay, I know this magician, he's very nice. Why don't you go to him? Or I know someone in our area, she does it, why don't you go to him? So, somehow we will reach that person or someone who is affiliated with black magic, who knows how to do it. So then that person or shaitan, they will tell them to either murder someone. When you murder that person, they will tell you, okay, they would ask for some organ or some blood of that murdered person. And people have done this. I mean, people have done this. I mean, this is no joke. This is, I mean, we are being surprised because subhanallah, we lived, in a society, in a community, in a country, where we don't know this is happening. But it is where there is jahiliyyah. When people don't know Quran, they don't follow what's written in the book, people go to any extent to. Yeah, that's what I'm about to come. Yeah, I'll answer you, and I have the answer for you over here. So before that, they first tell you to do, kalmas of shirk, and they tell you actually do shirk. Once you do that, then you have the power to do black magic. Then they will tell you, because now iman has left your heart. Black magic can only enter your heart when iman has left. You will have no iman. or very weak iman. And weak iman, slowly and slowly, when you keep doing acts of kufr, when you keep saying kalmas of kufr, when you keep doing shirk, not praying, iman will actually one fine day diminish, and then you will be like a walking, sleeping, eating shaitan yourself. Someone who does astaghfirullah, may Allah save all of us from this. It's a very important ayat, and whether we know someone or we don't know someone, we all should know this ayat, because it will give us peace. I mean, we might meet someone who is in need of this, and if we have knowledge, we can tell them. So, and then what happens? Shaitan tells them to, sometimes Shaitan also tells them to do zina, okay, with their own mahrams, with their own moms or sisters. Yes, it has happened. It's reality. All right. And astaghfirullah, non-believers, disbelievers like Hindus and people, I mean, they're not from the book. They don't have a scripture. They don't have a sharia. They don't mind. For them, it's no big deal. Okay. So Shaitan tells to murder someone. He tells to get blood from that person, some organ, okay, and then write something, some amulet, some taweez from that organ or from that blood. He tells you to do zina, and then he tells us to be in state, I mean, he will tell that person to be in a state of impurity. Okay, maybe not use, water after you use the bathroom, or, when a woman is menstruating, he would tell that woman, not to take a bath, or, something like that. I mean, to be in a state of impurity and also have impurities on you. So you might have some blood or anything filthy. I mean, we wouldn't have discussed this if it was not this ayat. I mean, these are things not to be discussed, but for the purpose of deen, for the purpose of knowledge, for the purpose of ilm, so that we know what's going on, we are discussing it. So this is what he's doing. So of course, when someone does this, I mean, he's not a human anymore. He's a shaitan, having a face of a man. And, yeah, exactly. I mean, even I think animals would be better. Even they wouldn't do this. They just live for their existence. They don't harm anyone. So, the person becomes like this, and then he does not have iman in the heart. And that's why the spell of female magicians are the most effective when they're menstruating. They would give a date to someone, okay, come on this date, because they know when are they going to menstruate. And that's why they would caught them in that 5 or 7 days, and then they would do everything in those 5 and 7 days. They would have people lined up one after the other in those 5 and 7 days. And that's the time when their spells will work, because they're in the state of najasat, impurity. So just as angels, they assist pious people, prophets, pure people, shaitan assists evil people, and these people who are interested in black magic. Now, Pharaoh's magicians used to mesmerize the people. They used to frighten this. What happens? Fear enters your heart. Whenever you see someone doing something like this, you get scared, of that person. And that's why you're saying it's better I have good terms with this person, because he's capable of doing, magic. What if, he does something wrong to me or to my family? But Allah is saying anything can harm you only by my will. If I do not give the permission, nothing will harm you. But, we get scared. We have this fear if we hear about black magic. So the difference between, as I said, the miracles, which are mu'jizat from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala given to the prophets, and this black magic is totally different. All the prophets were given different miracles, and this is black magic. And no prophet, none of the prophet have done anything like this, because astaghfirullah, this is a shirk. I mean, even for a normal, common Muslim man, Muslim woman, this is shirk. How can a prophet of Allah do anything close to this? How can Sulaiman alayhi salam be a magician? How can, any prophet can be a magician? And Allah will never allow any magician to do anything that a prophet has done, the miracle. No magician can do a miracle like splitting the sea, bringing the dead alive, or making objects talk. Like there was a stone in Medina and in Makkah. That stone used to say salam to Prophet ﷺ even before he became the prophet. When he was walking on the mountain of Ahad, that mountain, was shaking and, was happy, so he said, okay, hold on, hang on, hang on. So, these are the miracles that will happen. We know the miracle that, the trunk of the date palm started crying when, they actually cut the member where Prophet ﷺ used to give the khutbah on Fridays, and they actually made a pulpit for him, because everyone said, no, Rasulullah, we'll make you a proper culprit. So they actually cut the tree that he used to stand in. That tree started crying like a baby. I mean, everyone could hear that date palm tree crying like a baby. Prophet ﷺ has to stop his khutbah. He went and he patted the tree and he said, had I not patted the tree, this tree would have cried till the day of judgment. Subhanallah. Is this a astaghfirullah? We would say like a magic? No, this is a miracle that he was given by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that distinguished him from all of us, or distinguished any prophet from all of us. We are just common people, they were chosen ones. They were given things that no one could have. Anyone even saying Sulaiman al-Islam was a magician, they say, even in Urdu, we say Soleimani topi, iski topi, uske sar, and all that. This is coming from the Jews. That we take it as a joke, and we say it in a joke, and we take it really lightly. I mean, casual approach towards Quran or any ayat of Quran is not allowed. I mean, we have to take it each and every word very seriously. So this is what it is. And now the last part of this ayat. Indeed, they knew that there is no share in the hereafter for the one who purchased it, which means for the one who's doing this black magic, they already knew. Harut and Marut have already told them, do not disbelieve. Do not turn disbelievers by learning black magic. So they knew that this is haram. This is not allowed. Bani Israel knew that this is haram, okay? But yet they learned it. Evil indeed is the price for which they have sold their souls, if only they knew. So the price over here means akhirah. They are not going to get akhirah. They will not land in Jannah. They are actually doing business, selling and buying their akhirah just by little bit of worldly gain, just by learning black magic, which will help them only in this world. I mean, if someone is sick, or if they want a job, if they want to do their business good, I mean, just by killing someone, murdering someone, I mean, what good? First of all, every person has this fitra, this inner guilt. If they have little bit of iman, they will have this inner guilt throughout their life, that they have actually got something from someone by murdering or harming someone. If they don't even have that, they would be with that thing, they would enjoy that property or that land or whatever that is only for some time. Once they die, I mean, they will not have any share. They will land up in Jahannam. So, because doing black magic is kufr. If someone is doing black magic, even to get something good, if he's not harming anyone, but he's still doing black magic, that is also kufr. That is also wrong. That is also bad. And if you're doing black magic to harm anyone, that's a sin. That's a sin. And Allah is saying again, this is just for little time, just until you die. Once you die, everything is gone. Now, whatever happiness you had because of black magic, it's gone. And now you're going to end up in Jahannam. You will not have a share in the hereafter. And if in an Islamic country, one is convicted in an Islamic court, then he has a severe punishment even in this world. So, we are living in America, but in Muslim lands, if a person is convicted, like, for sure he's done black magic, it's severe punishment. And a man who practices black magic will be a kuffar. He's a kafir. He is labeled as a kafir because he's doing act of kufr. If a woman is convicted, if a man is convicted, he would be executed. But if a woman is convicted, she would be life prison. And if they are found guilty of it, then they would be life prison. But if they have harmed someone to such an extent that, someone has been murdered, or, they have split a married couple or anything, then they would be executed. Someone who's done black magic, the person, because they have spread so much corruption on earth. They have killed someone. They have, split a loving husband and wife. Because Allah is saying this is one of the worst states. Someone who's doing it actually but in spite of all this, even in Muslim countries, like, people are doing it. There are people who are doing it. There was a Sahaba, his name was Jundub bin Ka'ab radiallahu anhu. Once he saw a man demonstrate how he could cut his head, decapitate a person, like cut the head of the person. And that man, he went and he again replaced his head. Okay, so there was this guy, a magician, that Jundub radiallahu anhu saw that he was doing this act of black magic. He cut the head of that man, and again he replaced it. He put it back, and like everyone was watching it, and people were like, like applauding and woo, like wow, like how are you able to do it? So Jundub radiallahu anhu, he saw this, and he took his sword out, and he immediately cut the head of that magician. So he told everyone that if he's able to bring that man back to life, he can bring himself to life. Now let's see whether he's able to bring himself back to life. And he was not able to bring himself back to life. So for this action, Rasulullah has said that he struck such a blow with his sword whereby he has assumed the status of the entire ummah. Like entire ummah admires him for this action. I mean, he didn't even thought about it. He saw that he's doing it, and he took his sword out and he chopped his head. And he said, let's wait and see whether he's able to bring back, whether he's able to come back to life. And it was necessary for him to do this. Sometimes, uh, we have to take a stand, and we have to be quick in doing an action of good if we see evil. We cannot wait, because if this action would not have been done, if Jundub radiallahu anhu would not have chopped his head, that guy would have created so much of corruption in between societies, and everywhere he has gone, people would have think, oh, I mean, he could bring like the dead back to life. He could do anything. I mean, people would just think him like a god, or anyone who could do anything. And there's another hadith that comes, a man came to Walid bin Akbar radiallahu anhu, who was the governor of Iraq. The person this magician, he walked on a string, entered into the donkey's body from his tail, and he came out from the donkey's mouth. Okay, Jundub radiallahu anhu was again there present, and he again executed that person. So this magician, I mean, bad time for these magicians to be around Jundub radiallahu anhu, subhanallah. May Allah grant him Jannatul Firdaus. But it was from the qadr of Allah. Because Allah wanted to teach the masses, the folks who are watching this, a lesson. That Jundub radiallahu anhu was always around when such thing was happening. So this was the second incident that he did. He actually executed the man because he was doing such an action. And again, this was magic. I mean, no one can do this unless you have control over the shaitan. Only if you have control over the shaitan, and if you do all those evil acts and this shirk, you're able to do something like this. So Prophet ﷺ said, Jundub radiallahu anhu, there will be about him, there will be a person from my ummah called Jundub. He will strike a blow with his sword, whereby falsehood will be distinguished from truth. So very important last line, falsehood. So this is all false. Black magic is all false. I mean, it, first of all, it cannot harm anyone. Only if it harms, it will be with Allah's permission. So now there is a ruling, what you were asking, Sister Saima. Ruling is, it is not allowed to use surahs of Quran or hadith for any practice of black magic or any magic. People say, okay, this is ayat from Quran. We are wearing this taweez or this amulet, which is ayat from Quran. No, there is no need to wear it. Why? If you really love Quran so much, follow it in your lifestyle. Okay, if you are sick, there are so many kalmas, there are so many things coming in Quran that you can read this if you are sick. You can read this if you are in a trial or in a tribulation. So making the amulets from Quran and using it even to harm someone, or for your own good, harm someone, people are doing it. They're using Quran and they're harming people, and they're saying this is from Quran. This is Quran. This is not black magic. This is Quran. We're not saying kalimas of kufr. We're not doing shirk. We are using Quran to harm someone. So that's not allowed. That's a sin. Quran has power, so do not misuse the power. Use the power for your own good. Use the power to build your own character. There's no need to harm anyone and saying that, this amulet is made from Quran. This amulet has an ayat of Quran. And do not use the amulet even for yourself. Just, people used to tie it on their right hand, shoulder, or they hang it on their neck. There's no need to do it. I mean, are you going to remove it every time you use the bathroom, the washroom? I mean, if you're going in a movie theater, or if you're going on a concert, or if you're if you're having periods, are you going to take it off? Are you so conscious about it? So there's no need to do it. I mean,
safety.
Yeah. If you are worried about your safety, read the supplications of morning and evening. If someone is worried about their safety, we all can read Ayatul Kursi. We all can read, the last 3 surahs of Quran. So actually, if you're trying to trick everyone and using Quran and using it for something really bad and evil, and you're trying to be very eloquent and saying, okay, I'm using it for some betterment, I'm using it for someone good. Allah knows the intention in the heart. Allah knows why we are doing it. Okay, someone might be genuine. Someone loves Quran so much that he wants to walk with the Quran. He wants to walk with the ayat, sleep with the ayat, sit with the ayat. So the best way is to memorize that ayat. The best way is to become hafiz of Quran, hafiz of that ayat, So inshallah, we have to be very clear about it. If we see someone doing it, we should try to stop that, because that is corruption. If that person has good characters, if that person is nice, someone might think, okay, he's such a nice guy and he's doing it, let me do it too. So, but he's nice in that particular traits or characteristics. That does not mean that we can take, because he has an amulet, tied around his neck, just because he's nice and nice with everyone, we should take that, okay, he's wearing it, let me wear that too. We should be very clear that, we are not doing it. We should not do it. We should not, we should respect the Quran. I mean, it's not something we are not allowed to, read the Quran. The best thing is to, when we are in a state of, we should do wudu, and only then we should use the Quran. I mean, hanging the Quran in your neck will not make us a pious Muslim. Only following the Quran, acting on the Quran will make us a true Muslim or a genuine pious Muslim. And, we can attain the level of ihsan. So there is a story which comes about Harut and Marut. It's a weak narration, but let's discuss this because it's there in the books of Tafsir. So Harut and Marut was sent down to earth by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah, this story says, I mean, even scholars like Qurtubi and Ibn Jawzi, they have narrated this incident, but we don't know the authenticity of this incident. So Harut and Marut was sent down with human passions. This story says that they were sent down with human passions on earth, and they fell in love with a woman called Zahra or Zehra. And they tried to seduce this woman, Harut and Marut. Okay. And then this lady, she asked them about Ismul Azam, Allah's name that she can use to ask anything from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That, a name from which all du'as are accepted. So they told her, okay, this is the name. Okay, the name doesn't come, but they told her this is the name. And immediately they told that lady that this is the name. She ascended to the heavens and she became a star. So this is a story which is coming in the books of Tafsir. Again, we don't know how authentic it is. It's a fabricated incident maybe. So Allah gave them an option after this, Harut and Marut. So you have two options because you have done this. So you have punishment. Do you want punishment in this world or in the next world? So they said, we want punishment in this world. So Allah has chosen them for world. So they have chosen worldly punishment, and they were suspended. They were put upside down in some well in Babylon, and they are going to be hanging in that well until Day of Judgment. This is a story. So we have discussed this story because it was in the book of Tafsir. We don't know how authentic it is, but this is what it is. Allah knows the best. Now the next ayat, ayat 103.
They're not going to eat that. Let's make eggs. You haven't had eggs in a while.
I don't know how to put on mute. I have to learn this. I was trying it, but I don't know. I'm scared. What if I disconnect it? Yeah, it's Zoom. Okay, ayat 103. Let's see, ayat 103 says. وَلَوْ أَنَّهُمْ آمَنُوا وَاتَّقُوا لَمَثُوبَةٌ مِّنْ عِنْدِ اللَّهِ خَيْرٌ لَوْ كَانُوا يَعْلَمُونَ. If only they believed and adopted taqwa, then the reward with Allah is best for them if only they knew. This is about Bani Israel. This is a continuation of the same ayat. So they were given Torah. Allah has told them to follow Torah, to follow the commandments of Torah. And what will happen when they follow the book of Allah? It will build their taqwa and iman. Iman is the faith, okay, and taqwa is abstaining from sins, staying away from sins, protecting yourself so that we don't end up in Jahannam. So taqwa is protecting yourself. Like when you go for Hajj, we are going for something good, right? But that does not mean we just walk in to the airport without our passports. Taqwa is doing our part and then leaving it on Allah. Tie your camel and then leave it on Allah. People would say, I have taqwa. I can just go like that. It's 35 degrees and I can just go outside without a jacket. No, that's not taqwa of Allah. That's foolishness. Taqwa of Allah will make you smart, intelligent. We will protect ourselves, we will take care of ourselves, and then we will leave it to Allah. We will do 100% from our end. So Allah is saying, you are given the book. Your job is to follow the book. Bani Israel, please follow Torah. It's given to you. Now they're putting the book behind, which means they're not following it. And that's why they have fallen where they are, like, in this trap, in this sin.
Mm.
They are unfortunate to value the deen of Allah, to take the deen of Allah. When one has Iman, progression of Iman will build taqwa. So, each and every, all of us know that the building of Iman is not a one-day procedure. It's a journey, it's a process. Someone who's not praying 5 times a day, first he will have that guilt, oh, I'm not praying Fajr. Let me start praying Fajr. So once that person starts praying 5 times a day, then that person will start thinking, okay, I'm praying 5 times a day. Let me just read a page of Quran each day. Now, this is Iman, which is building your taqwa. Progression of Iman will, build your taqwa. Then when he's reading a page of Quran, he will think, okay, let me fast Mondays and Thursdays, or at least Monday. Let me fast. Can you put yourself in mute, sister? So, then they would say, okay, let me fast on Mondays. Okay, one Monday, once a month. And then he would say, okay, it's not that difficult. Let me fast 2 Mondays. And then he would come to Thursdays. So these are just small examples that one starts doing it. But for that, we have to do the action. If we are just making dua, oh Allah, make me fast on Mondays and Thursdays. Oh Allah, make me, dua is the first step. Of course, it's the best form of ibadah. But then action, amal should also be there. That's our part. And when we do dua, step 1, when we do step 2, amal, inshallah, then Allah makes our feet firm on that good deed. Then for that, for us, it becomes a second nature. Now, for a person who's fasting on Monday, he does not have to think that it's a Monday and how is he going to do that? In fact, he'll feel bad if he's not able to fast on a Monday. He will think, oh my God, I have a dawat, I have a party, someone has invited me, someone is coming over, there's lunch. Oh my God, I'm not fasting. And he's going to feel bad about it. That's taqwa. And this is a journey. It's not going to happen. Someone who's not wearing a hijab, someone was wearing skirts and short sleeves. For that person, it will say, okay, hijab is the best thing to do. You should start doing hijab. I mean, we are saying in a way that will make that person run away from hijab. So arrogance is not the way to approach towards Islam. We should say, Subhanallah, you are dressed so modestly, I see you look so pretty. Why don't you try it? Give it a shot. There is a way to say it. Had Rasulullah not been gentle and nice, and the way he has spread the message, it would have been difficult for people of Makkah and Medina, these Qurayshis, to accept it. So putting someone down just because, thinking that we are better than them will not make that person any better Muslim. In fact, we might be asked on the day of judgment, why did you say it in a way that she ran away from that deed? She was not able to do it. So Allah is saying here that had they followed the book, they would have increased in Iman and Taqwa, and eventually that would have stopped them from doing black magic. But in spite of that, what they did, they threw my book behind their backs. That is, they did not look at what it was written, and they fell into the trap of shaitan. Masuba, which is coming in this ayat, this word means reward. See, sawab, we say sawab in Arabic and Urdu. Sawab milega, sawab. So masuba comes from sawab, and masuba is in plural, which means multitudes of reward. Allah is not giving a number here. Multitudes of reward that only Allah knows. For a fasting person, it's multitudes of reward. We don't know what's the reward someone would get when they fast for Ramadan. So such reward that cannot be described. So let's read the ayat once again. The ayat says here, Where did that go? Okay. So the ayat says, وَلَوْ أَنَّهُمْ آمَنُوا وَاتَّقُوا لَمَثُوبَةٌ مِنْ عِنْدِ اللَّهِ خَيْرٌ, which means literally it's translated as unimaginable compensation from Allah is better, which means they were told not to sin. Harut and Marut were telling them, see, don't learn black magic. It's shirk. Don't disbelieve. So they were given something and told not to do it, but they anyway did it. They anyway took it because they said, for the worldly gains, they are not thinking about akhirah. They're not thinking about the next world. So a lesson we learned that if we are tempted towards something, okay, if we just want to do something that's bad, that's haram, that Allah has told us, or our parents have told us, or everyone has told us this is haram and this is in the Quran, don't do it, even if you are tempted towards it. If we refrain from it, if we hold from it, not doing it, then we will get masubat. We will get multitudes of rewards from Allah. We will get unimaginable compensation from Allah, which Allah is saying is better for you than if you would have done it. Whatever, if someone wants to drink, that could give him pleasure for only so much time. If someone wants to zina, astaghfirullah, that could give him pleasure for only such time. But Allah says, if you know that this is your weakness and that sin is dangling in front of your eyes and you are seeing it, and because of your iman and taqwa you're holding and not doing it, then Allah is the one who's going to give you an undescribable reward, a reward that you cannot even imagine. So had Bani Israel not did this for this worldly gain, or for whatever power, fame, status, money, the reward that they would have got would have been unimaginable from Allah. Now they don't have share in akhirah. It's exactly opposite. Now they don't have any share in akhirah, but Allah is saying, had they just followed my book, followed Torah, they would have got such a multiple reward. This is for us too. We have Quran. We cannot say that we don't have the Allah's book. We have Quran, and this is for us. Allah is taking a case of Bani Israel. It's a case study. Bani Israel is a case study. We are told what not to do so that we know what to do. Allah is saying, this is, you don't do this, check. You don't do this, check. You don't do this, check. Bani Israel did everything. Look at them. They don't have any share. So we should not feel sorry and sympathetic about Bani Israel. They were crazy. They were foolish. We are too doing the same things. So Allah is saying, if you hold on to your, iman and taqwa, you are going to get something that is unimaginable. May Allah make all of us like that. May Allah increase our iman. Subhanallah. May Allah give all of y'all masuba, multitudes of rewards, because you all have come to the masjid 35 degrees. I really appreciate Sister Fareen and Safa. Safa, mashallah, you are just 14, 15, 15, 14, yeah. Yeah, your birthday is about to come, right? What, Feb 4th? 3rd, okay. Mashallah. Sister Saima, you too. I mean, she works full time. And she's here in the masjid. Yeah, alhamdulillah. Like, whatever it is, see, Deen is coming to our masjid. Deen is everywhere. It's on our phones. Allah will be asking us. So you were born during the age of social media, right? What did you do with your phone? How many times have you read Quran or heard some Islamic lecture? I mean, so but Allah says only the chosen ones will be getting benefit from it. Not everyone. Masjid is something that's open to everyone. This class is free. I mean, everyone can benefit. Alhamdulillah, applaud and subhanallah, our sisters who are joining on Zoom, subhanallah, and who listen to our recordings. I mean, Allah reward them and our brothers. So, it's so easy to learn. This ayat is so important. Someone would say, this is not related to me. For a Muslim, each and every word of Quran is related to that Muslim, each and every letter. Because we are mothers, we are going to be grandmothers, we are going to leave a legacy. Our offsprings are going to talk about us. We are going to get rewarded, in alimul barzakh. So everything that is here is related to us. We cannot take a part of a book and, reject and, disregard another part of the book like Bani Israel. So this was this ayat. Now the last ayat of the day. This was not the last, but let's make it last. So the last ayat is ayat number 104. Okay. Ayat 104 says, يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تقولوا راعنا وقولوا انظرنا واسمعوا وللكافرين عذاب أليم. O you who believe, do not say ra'ina, but say unzurna and hearken. A painful punishment is reserved for the disbelievers. Yeah, I told them, till 11. So a new crime of Bani Israel is mentioned here. Ra'ina, Allah is saying, O people, O believers, O Muslims, do not say Ra'ina. To whom? To Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. What is Ra'ina? Ra'ina has two meanings. In Arabic, Raina means consider us. Can you listen to us? Like, when Prophet ﷺ used to give a khutbah or a talk, how we do. Sometimes we are lost in our own world. We are talking with each other and we don't listen in the beginning what, the speaker is saying. So when we say, oh, we missed it. Oh my God, like, I didn't pay attention. Can you please repeat it? Can you please consider it? Can you please say it again if you don't mind? That is Raina, okay, in Arabic. But in Hebrew, Raina means a shepherd. Okay, and they used to use it as a curse for Prophet ﷺ. And when they used to say Raina, they used to laugh and wink and look at each other sideways that, we are telling him Raina and he doesn't get it. Like mocking. So Saad bin Mu'adh, he used to understand Hebrew. Saad bin Mu'adh radiallahu anhu. And he noticed, the Jews, the way they used to behave when they used to say Raina and they used to laugh and, that mean laugh, like winking and look at him, he doesn't get it what we're saying. And, we are just disrespecting him and cursing him and they are happy and smiling. So Saad bin Mu'adh radiallahu anhu said that, if any of you says Raina, I'm going to chop your head. So no one says Raina. So the Jews used to say, but Muslims also say Raina. So why are you telling us? Then Allah revealed this verse that Ya ayyuhallazina amanu la taqulu Raina. Do not say Raina. Okay? Stop saying Raina. So from this we get that Muslims shall not use words or evil or inappropriate language or inappropriate meaning. The trend that's going on, kids use inappropriate language. Sometimes we also use curse word and bad word. We should not do it. We should not use it. Muslim from calling anyone Shahenshah. Shahenshah, we should not call anyone because it means king of the kings. And that's only reserved for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because he's the king of the kings. We say in law, he was a Shahenshah, like, hey, like, we say it. But subhanAllah, when I was making notes, when I was reading this, I was like, Shahenshah, you cannot say Shahenshah to anyone. So, and there's a hadith which comes in Musnad Ahmad. Prophet ﷺ said, the one who emulates a nation is from them. Therefore, a Muslim must not imitate the dressing, acts of devotion, and mannerisms, words and action of kufr. So we should not use anything that the Hindus are doing or the Christians are doing or the Jews are doing and say, it's just culture. It's the trend, these days. I mean, in Saudi Arabia, they were celebrating Halloween. We have spoken about it in our class. And there were videos that went viral about how they were celebrating it and they were so happy. Even the Arabs were happy. They had a red carpet in, I think, Jeddah or Riyadh, where all Saudi women were walking without like hijab and abaya, and they were just dressed up the way, the women from West are dressed, and they were so happy about it. I mean, when we read this hadith, I mean, there's a clear-cut hadith that we cannot emulate a nation or we cannot imitate the dressing or acts of devotion and mannerisms, words and actions of kufr. So may Allah save us from all of this. And inshallah, I have one more ayat, but we'll do it in next class. Inshallah, let's make dua. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Rabbi ighfir li wa li walidayya wa lil mu'minina yawma yaqumul hisab. ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك إني كنت من الظالمين اللهم بارك لنا في أهلنا اللهم بارك لنا في مالنا اللهم بارك لنا في وقتنا اللهم بارك لنا في كل ما رزقتنا استغفر الله من كل ذنب وأتوب إليه فاطر السماوات والأرض أنت ولي في الدنيا والآخرة توفني مسلما وألحقني بالصالحين وَلِلَّهُ مَوْلَاكُمْ وَهُوَ خَيْرُ النَّاصِرِينَ. السلام علیکم ورحمۃ اللہ وبرکاتہ.